Relationships and time matter. Yep, I'm talking about basketball. Next on Locked on Jazz. Bum 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 bum.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked on Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps. And thank you so much for making Locked on Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. Appreciate it very much. And the everydayers out there, you are the best. All right, here's what we got in today's show. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to get you to understand what being around Ace Bailey is like. I've decided you're actually just going to get Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey did a media session yesterday. That's 7 minutes. I'm just going to play it for you to close the show today. I thought, you've got to get a feel and a flavor of the energy and the effervescentness is the word I keep using, and the contagious kind of juice and youthfulness of this kid. It's great. He's really he's just got a huge smile every single day. He's really eager and happy to be here. He's really eager and happy to play. And it comes across. And I wanted you to feel that. So we're going to do that to close the show. We've got some odds and ends left from Media Day to wrap that up before we do our Q&A tomorrow of our Ask LOJ edition of the show. Yesterday, we talked a lot about veteran leadership. And I said I'm a skeptic, but this feels like a little different. That may have come out to be true. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. I want to start with relationships. Keonte George, we'll see what kind of season he has, but there's something really interesting going on here with Keonte George and how the year has started for Keonte. And what it really is we're talking about is human connection. So I talked about early that one of the things that jumped out to me about training camp and media day was that the departure of Collin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and John Collins has brought the young guys together and brought a camaraderie to them. Sarah Todd wrote a nice article today in the Deseret News about the trip that Keonte George led to Dallas, where he took 8 of the guys to Dallas for 5 days. I don't think he does that if Collin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, and John Collins are around. It's clear it's their team. Will Hardy met with the team and kind of said, no one's coming to save you guys. This is your deal. And so we're beginning to see this human connection. But there's also something here where we're beginning to see relationships build over time. Let's look at Keonte's life for a second. Let's look at Taylor Hendricks' life for a second. Let's look at Brice Sensabaugh. A little different, but it's still worth noting. So Keonte George, I have no idea what he does in junior high. I'll ask him next time I see him. But he plays 2 years at Louisville High School. He goes to the I School for 1 year. He goes to IMG for 1 year. He goes to Baylor for 1 year. And then he comes to Utah. By the time he gets to Utah, that is the 6th school, place, whatever team he's playing on, or excuse me, his 5th team he's playing on in 5 years. Taylor's not that different. Taylor spent 2 years at NSU University School, then 2 years at Calvary Christian, then 1 year at the University of Central Florida, and then he comes to the Jazz. So Taylor's a little different in the sense that he went to 4 schools in the span of actually 5 years. Keonte, by the time he did 2 years at the last year in Louisville, 1 year at I School, 1 year at IMG, 1 year at Baylor, 1 year with the Utah Jazz, literally was playing for 5 teams in 5 years. Taylor was 4 teams in 5 years. There's no relationships. JJ Redick in a podcast had a great line. I've used it with my kids a lot about unpacking. JJ Redick was saying that nobody in this day and age unpacks at all. That these kids in this generation, either they're so willing that they get to someplace and they leave their bags packed, proverbially, and then they wait for something to go wrong or something, and then they move on. Or in the case of Keonte George, like, he never thought he was going to be at Baylor longer than he, like, for a blink of an eye. It was a requirement to be there. It wasn't by desire. So now we have Keonte George in his third year in Salt Lake City, Utah, with the same head coach. And we have him with Taylor Hendricks, who's his same teammate, and Walker Kessler, who's his same teammate, and Brice Sensabaugh, who's his same teammate. And while there's been a lot of turnover, he suddenly has a group of players that he's begun to spend time with and build relationships with. Even, I would say, in our media sessions with Key, we got a chance to sit down with him. Most of the conversations off the record. I don't want to divulge him, but he shares with us the things he's doing to help himself off the court, meeting with doctors, mental health stuff. Super impressive. He's not sharing that with us 2 years ago. I don't know Keonte's background. I'd say most kids have a trust issue. I'm not going to get into, like, I don't know Keonte this and that, but most kids are pretty unwilling, particularly when they have $5 million in the bank account, are pretty unwilling to trust. Whose intentions? What do you want? Da-da-da-da. I watched it with Donovan. I watched it with Gordon. Some of these kids come unwilling to trust from the beginning. Key's now been here long enough that he realizes that Isaiah Wright, or who's a strength and conditioning coach, or the nutritionist, or AZ the chef, all have his best intentions in mind. And I think we're seeing two things. We're seeing a 21-year-old, he was 19 when he got to us, grow up and get to know himself. But we're also seeing him having unpacked a little bit. And we're seeing someone who, for the first time, either, I don't know enough, ever, think about this, either for the first time ever, possibly, or since somewhere between kindergarten and 8th grade, has been in the same place for 3 years in a row. Okay? Like, if you actually just think, most people kind of go to kindergarten, then they go to an elementary school for a few years, and then they go, like, I don't know how it breaks down in Texas, but there's a real chance that Keonte has not had at any point in his entire life gone to the same place, school, whatever, for 3 years in a row. Ever. Real chance. Maybe 6 through 8 was the same. Okay, then he hasn't done it since 8th grade. And since then, he's been to 5 places in 6 years. Well, you can't build trust. You can't build relationships. You might not be able to figure out who you are. Because without some relationships, without some trust, and without some belief that the person next to you is on your side and that you can be open and you can be clear and you can share, can you find out who you are yourself? Again, for Taylor, through a tragic injury too, maybe, don't know his 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, but at minimum is the first time he's been anywhere for 3 years in a row in 6 years. Brice Sensabaugh, by the way, according to what I think, went to the same high school for 4 years. So his might be a little different. And then went to Ohio State for a year. I'm sure he didn't the minute he started playing well, he didn't unpack. But when we see Will Hardy yesterday in a press conference with Keonte George talking about depth of relationships and how proud he is of Keonte and how much he's grown and how much those relationships are going, how much Keonte's finding himself and Keonte's getting to know himself better. Sure. Finally. What a chance. What an opportunity. But also, what a weird life to live prior to that. And I think that's a lot of what's going on here. There's some level of human connection. There also has to be some level of togetherness. I mean, we look at the Thunder, and if you talk to coaches and people in the Thunder, they'll talk about that they create this collegiate environment where everyone's in it together and it's great. And it won them a title. And they really, truly believe that's what happened. It sounds cliche-ish and crazy and hard to believe. They really believe that's what's happened. And you see it in their post-game interviews with Nick and all those kind of things. Maybe it's true. And maybe we're going to see that somewhat this year as this team begins to grow. And as Austin Ainge is built, it says, hey, everybody wants to try to win and to have hope. Well, if you can have some hope together. But I think this is it's not the X's and O's training camp stuff you probably wanted from me today, but I think it's a really interesting perspective on where these guys are, what we're watching take place right now, which is we're watching these guys grow up, we're watching them develop as humans, and we're watching them get some collective human connection together, which allows them to grow in a life in which they just haven't had that. I'm going to dig more into this as the year. I'm going to talk to Keonte and Taylor about it, and they'll think I'm crazy. But I think it's an interesting perspective. We talked about it yesterday. It might actually be happening. Veteran leadership for the Utah Jazz next on Locked on Jazz. Today's show is brought to you in part by Peloton. I think I'm going to have to get on that before jumping on a flight. I'm going to go to tomorrow. We're going to be on remote. Tomorrow we're doing a test. We're testing all of the off-season or in-season remote stuff tomorrow. We'll see if it works. Anyway, Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with brand new Peloton cross-training tread, powered by Peloton IQ. It's the most advanced equipment yet. It's designed to give you real-time guidance, endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps, suggests the right weights, corrects your form, makes every rep safer and smarter. And the swivel screen is a game changer. You can go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training without missing a beat. And of course, the legendary Peloton personalized class recommendations that keep you engaged. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton cross-training tread today at onepeloton.com. Thanks so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day, and thank you for making us the #1 sports podcast network. Yes! We just had Mammoth September, like super cool. I was just looking at the data before we got on. We had our second, third, fifth, fourth, sixth, and seventh biggest days in audio ever in the month of September. Kind of great. Thank you. You guys are doing it. All right. A bunch of stuff. It's interesting. Yesterday's show, I talked about how I don't believe in veteran leadership. I went to practice and watched, clearly saw some. Talked about Kevin Love, who just seems to be a little different. Kyle Anderson's really smart. And then all of a sudden, yesterday's presser kind of without anybody asking. I mean, I literally saw Kevin Love pull Ace Bailey aside and give him thoughts. There was Ace Bailey on the podium yesterday talking about Kevin Love helping him out, teaching him how to rebound. Ace Bailey's presser that we're going to play here, I'll give some context with it. There's some really eye-opening pieces of it also, what I want to share with you when you kind of wonder why young guys struggle. How little coaching goes on in college is kind of revealed in this interview. And then Will Hardy in his presser really talked about that as well, and how much, really Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson and Nurk are communicating with young players in a manner that's not demeaning, that is giving them some things that make them really feel like they're learning and things of that nature. And so I think that's an interesting little piece that we are seeing that take place. I will say, I do think this is going to be an interesting mix. One is, I really believe Nurk's going to play. So let me start there. And the reason I think Nurk's going to play, even Ace mentioned it in his presser, that Nurk throws all these backdoor passes, can really pass, and they're taking advantage of it. I think Nurk's going to play because he makes other players' lives better. I'm not sure there's actually a player on the team that makes everyone else better more than Nurk. His screen setting, passing, floor spacing. So I actually think Nurk's going to play because I think Yusuf Nurkic is going to help other players play better. The minute Nurk plays, one of the young guys is not playing. Okay? right? Like if Nurk is playing and Kessler's playing and Markkanen's playing, I think that leaves out, and Ace Bailey's playing, that leaves out one of the young players. We're not having an 11-man rotation, I don't think. So somebody, maybe it's Cody Williams, maybe it's Isaiah Collier, maybe it's Walt Clayton, maybe it's Brice Sensabaugh. I don't think it's Keonte George. I think Keontae's really taking a leadership role in this team. I expect him to have a very large role this year. So maybe it's Kyle Filipowski, kind of doubt it. Is not playing. Maybe it's Taylor Hendricks early on because of his leg. I don't think so. I think he's been going for a long time. So someone doesn't play if Nurk plays, which gets, I think, going to be a little bit of a rub for the fan base. The other one is I kind of think Kyle Anderson's going to play. Again, same rule. He makes everyone's life so much better. If Nurk's not the player who makes everyone's life better, then Kyle Anderson is. The minute Kyle Anderson plays, well, now two young guys aren't playing. Is it Cody Williams and Isaiah Collier suddenly aren't playing? Is it Cody Williams and Walt Clayton are suddenly not playing? And if Kevin Love's going to play, well, now it's three, which gets to probably be too many. But two things is, one is Will Hardy's been very clear that you're going to have to earn your minutes, competency over credentials, and you're going to have to play well to get your minutes on this roster. And the other thing that's very clear, talking to all the veterans, is they want to play. None of them are just okay with, I'm coming here to sit on the bench and watch the young guys develop, and that'll be fun because I'll just be a tutor. No, that is not where those guys are. So this is going to be interesting. I think they've got Danny and Austin and Justin have done a really nice job of getting the right guys here. I don't know enough about Yusuf Nurkic, but he was delightful when we talked to him. Traditionally, European players have not been, I don't know, is that true? I'll stop on that comment. I think that's true, but I don't actually know it to be true. But I do wonder whether, like, yeah, Kevin and Kyle and all them are all in for helping right now. But if they're playing better than everybody, they want to play. So I think that'll be interesting to see. All right, let's wrap up some odds and ends from media day that I want to get to you prior to Ace. We're going to hear Ace Bailey here in a second. Will Hardy, interesting comment. Obviously, defensive perimeter defense has to be better. So that's going to be on Isaiah, Keonte, Brice, Walt. 2, they're going to use lots of different defensive schemes and mix up their defensive schemes. So that'll be worth keeping an eye on, of what that means, what those schemes are, how we're playing, what we're doing. I think that's something there. This was interesting. I was talking to Isaiah Collier about his shot, and Isaiah shared with me that when he was in college and he got hurt, they put a pin in his shooting hand. And last year, during the season, somehow the pin came loose and he couldn't bend his inside right finger near his thumb all the way. It was stuck in a position. And so he, in turn, had to deal with that all season. And every time he caught the ball, it actually hurt. And then he, from there, by the way, had it removed in the beginning of April. So I don't know exactly what that's going to mean. And, you know, Isaiah only shot 33% in college. And actually, I think as I looked at it, trying to figure out his collegiate numbers, he actually looked to me like he might have shot a little bit better after the injury than before the injury on his collegiate stuff. So I don't totally know how this is all going to play. But it's worth keeping an eye on, particularly if Isaiah starts to shoot the ball better this year than he did last year. So let's keep an eye on it. Isaiah, if you recall, in his collegiate year, if you're just kind of wanting the backstory on it, he plays on January 10th, and then he gets hurt and he misses a month worth of the season. Prior to that date, he really came back and played brilliantly after that. Prior to that date, he was only shooting 31% from three. So after that date, his final kind of came back, watched a little bit, came back and then balled. Like, he was really good. He came back and averaged 18 points a game. He shot 38% from three on 3 attempts a game. He was big time in that final 11 games of his collegiate season. But he really battled through something last year with that playing time, that injury. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's hope that that gets better for him and he plays well. Keonte shared that really a lot of his offseason work, as much as upper body looks better, is that he's been working on legs on his jumper to be stronger on his legs on that. Svi shared with us that he was super impressed with Walt Clayton, how he controls the game and how he just plays at his own pace and really seems to be comfortable at all times on the floor. So that was an interesting insight from a veteran there. On that note, I want to get you all the odds and ends left over from Media Day. And then Cody Williams is up 18 pounds from when he came in a year ago, and Brice is down 12 pounds from a year ago. So it's kind of cool to see those two guys work so hard and get that done. I think that wraps up kind of all of my veteran leadership notes. Ace Bailey, Taylor's energy, the two guys that stood out, Bryce and Flip, we did yesterday. So if you're an everydayer, you've got my whole collection. If not, you can go back and grab the extra pieces. All right, what we're going to do next, we don't do very often, but I literally do not think I can give you an adequate feel of what Ace Bailey's energy is, his exuberance, his excitement, and who he is. I mean, Will Hardy yesterday said the press conference just can't wait for the fans to get to know him a little bit and to feel him. He's such a fun kid. He has a big smile, was Will's quote. He's really energetic. He just, he loves to play. He's made more energy plays than probably anybody else has in camp so far, said Will. And you can just feel that when you're with him. I sat down with him for 12, 13 minutes the other day. I mean, just fly. It's just like, it's just with him. So we're going to play an Ace Bailey interview. I'm going to give you a few things to keep an eye on, to listen for prior to the interview. We'll do that next on Locked On Jazz. Today's show is brought to you in part by our friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel is having all sorts of fun right now. There's a great time, but the NFL season is the main reason, and you don't want to miss the offer they have for you with the NFL season here. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. What does the sportsbook say right now for today? Well, they got an NFL game on a Thursday night tonight for you to watch with the 49ers and the Rams. It is a 7.5-point favorite for the Rams with no Brock Purdy playing today. That is the biggest line, I believe, in any NFL game Thursday, except for the Lions are a 10.5-point favorite over the Cincinnati Bengals, who do not have Joe Burrow, the quarterbacks falling right and left. Major League Baseball today, we've got some game threes heading your direction for everyone to take in and the excitement of it all. The Padres and the Cubs, the Tigers and the Guardians, the Red Sox and the Yankees. WNBA Finals gets underway on Friday. The Aces start as a 2.5-point favorite in that one in college football there for you on Saturday. Some big lines, so go get your $5 bet and get your $2 bet, $5 bet, and get your bonus bets after that. That is all at FanDuel.com. There's a few interesting things in the Ace Bailey interview today. One is energy and how excitement. Two, he talks about Kevin Love. He also shares, because he's wonderfully youthful, two areas of just fundamental basketball that he doesn't know. And this is, I think, and one thing I always have felt is that it's very hard for a fan of a team to get excited about a draft pick and then he doesn't play and the coach says, well, he's not ready. And you're like, wait, why is he not ready? This is ridiculous. How is this possible? So here's an example. He'll talk about crashing from the corner and he'll say, well, I didn't know you're supposed to stay on top. So if you crash from the corner for a rebound, offensive rebound, and you go baseline and you don't get it, it's automatically a fast break the other way. You're on the wrong side. You have to crash on the top side so that if you don't get it, you can get back defensively and be on top of the ball, right? Does that make sense? Follow me? Like if you come baseline side and there's a rebound and it goes out and you didn't get it, you're now 3 steps behind the play and they have a fast break the other way. Very fundamental. It's transition defense thing. It's the Jazz are working. The second thing you'll hear him talk about is like shooting at 33, 35. That means that he's really just not fundamentally that aware of a 2-for-1. There's just a lack. The NCAA rules and the way it works in college, there's just a lack of coaching that goes on, truthfully. Like even some of the players the Jazz have drafted over recent years have come from some of the best, highest, biggest names programs. I have talked to multiple coaches who are just flabbergasted at how little they know, how little that player. So the great other one about Ace that's worth talking about here is he talked, and no, by the way, just so you know, Ace Bailey was born in August of 2006, and Kevin Love debuts in 2008. So he actually has not been alive. Kevin Love has not been in the league longer than Ace has been alive, though Ace says that, and you actually begin to think it might be true because I actually went and looked it up. The other one he does talk about that's interesting is how he wants to be coached. So here is Ace Bailey.
How's the first couple days of training camp been?
Whew. Training camp is something. It's a learning, a lot of learning. I mean, a lot of mess ups, but it's fun though. Everybody's having fun, enjoying it.
What are you learning?
Jinx. No, I'm learning a lot. I mean, a lot of the vets been pouring into me, like Kevin Love. A lot of them just how to rebound, how to get positioning. I mean, and if you asked me in college how to rebound from a corner, I couldn't tell you. I can tell you now it's better to go on the top side. But it's a lot of stuff I'm learning that I never knew that would be important to the game of basketball. So that's a good thing.
How's the conditioning aspect of it?
Crazy. Yeah, it's fun though. 3 minute up and downs, just pushing each other 5-on-5 with his 5-on-5s. We just going nonstop, 12 minutes on the clock. It's just a lot of running, a lot of conditioning. You in Utah, so that's two gonna get to you too. Being used to it.
It's only day 2, but what's something you've seen the vets do or how they approach training camp that you've kind of picked up on that you think is interesting?
I mean, the vets. They been here. You got someone been in the league. K-Love been in the league longer than I was born, so I don't know. I learned a lot though. Just coming in every day with a smile on your face, having fun. I mean, it's a learning experience. It's a great experience.
You feel like you're finally settling into Utah now?
Nah, yeah, it's home. I love it.
Now, like obviously, this is the highest level of players you've ever played against. What has that been like in the adjustment?
Learning the game, learning the shot clock. I mean, you asked the same thing you asked me in college. You tell me get a shot up at 33, 30. It's a lot. It's a lot I'm learning. It's a lot. And it's just, as days go by, stuff started to slow down for me, so that's a good thing.
Will mentioned that he's seen you asking a lot of questions to teammates, everyone. Are you someone that's not afraid to ask?
Depends on what the question is. I'm not going to lie. If I really don't understand it, I'm not going to hesitate to ask. But if I get it, but I don't get it, but I get it more than I don't get it, okay, I figure it out. Not that hard.
What has surprised you most about being around this group?
We young, the old guys talk to us like a lot of veterans. It's the veterans that get to me because you would think the veterans, I've been here 12 years, rook, but no, they actually pouring into the young guys, they giving back.
What's it been like to get out in the community outside of the gym and like do conditioning workouts like at the park or other places?
It's fun. I mean, from just getting outside with me, my mom, my little sister, and my girlfriend, we just running around at Park City, walking around in the park or something, walking the dogs. It's fun. It's different, though, for sure.
Different in what way?
Like, the attitude different. Different. You get tired faster, but you just push through it. It's like basketball.
Have you been able to meet a lot of fans when you were up in Park City?
Not a lot, but I met a couple, though, for sure.
What is that like when they're coming up to you?
It's fun. I mean, I got an input everywhere I go, and I can see that because from the little kids coming up to me, telling me, I mean, they glad for me to be here, from them high five, just interacting with the little ones because they next in line.
A couple of the guys on the team mentioned kind of your energy and enthusiasm, and like that it's infectious. Do you feel that about yourself? That like I'm an energetic guy and that can be a positive thing?
Towards the old heads, yeah, for sure. I mean, after this, I'll be tired for like 20 minutes. I'll be like, come on, let's go back out there. They be like, no. No. They be like, you got it, young one. But no, I can tell for sure. That's really all what it is. It's fun.
With are you learning stuff about the other players? Like playing with Walker Kessler is going to be different than any other center, right? Like, and are there things you're learning about your teammates that can help you in the season?
Hendricks can pass. A lot of backdoor cuts, so it's a lot. I'm learning as we go, so that's a good thing. I'm learning Hendricks right now. I mean, Larry got to get back. I learn how Larry play. I mean, that's all. That's all we do. Then we spend time off the court as team bonding to get to know each other on the court. So all of that plays an effect in it.
One of the things Will said is he kind of maybe wants to have you out more off ball ball a little bit to start and make just kind of quick decisions with the ball. Have you seen that so far, and how are you developing with that?
Oh, for sure. I mean, when it comes to reading reaction, it came a long way from taking my time. I mean, just sit on the floor. I mean, don't hesitate. I mean, at the beginning, I could say, before training camp, I could say I was just more of a, didn't want to mess up. I mean, I'm a rook. I mean, you know how it is. You think you mess up, you got to sit down. So it was one of those moments. But no, Coach Will, one of those ones that's just, hey, just have fun. It's basketball. No pressure.
Is there something to the idea that like the more time that you guys have spent off the court, whether it's the trip to Dallas in the summer or just being here during the summer, that you can be more honest with your teammates?
No, for sure. We can be honest no matter what. I mean, for us to be a championship, we have to be honest with each other. I mean, I want someone to be honest with me. Like, I asked Coach Will, be honest, what I did wrong on the defensive end. He told me, and I was like, okay, next possession got to stop. So it's just, you got to be able to take criticism to give it. So, I mean, it's part of basketball.
You like hard coaching?
No, I love it. I mean, hard coaching is just being real. I won't say hard coach. I say being real, being honest, being true. No sugarcoating.
That, my friends, is Ace Bailey. And that is the youthful exuberance of Ace Bailey. And that is the fun of Ace Bailey. And that fires us up for the NBA season. Hope you enjoyed that. A little different than usual. Do that when I think it's appropriate. It's nice that the Jazz put those out and have them available. And I think it's good for you to feel Ace and see what he's like. All right. Tomorrow is a Ask LOJ edition. So please send me all your questions. You want to email me at dlock09@gmail.com. You can do that. If you want to hit me on X, you can do that as well. Appreciate it very much. This has been Locked on Jazz. We now send you the first ever national 24/7 NBA channel on video. If you're on audio, make sure you check out Locked on NBA every day. Wes, Hayes, and the great Matt Moore.